Okay. Okay. Hopefully Roger Noriega will be joining us. He's the normal co-host, but he's been sort of off the planet recently. I just haven't heard from him in about a month. So I don't know why. But he hasn't been around. But that's okay. I've done plenty of shows solo. It's all right. I know he had some medical problems. He had okay. You're there. You're there. Good. It said the browser lost connection to your camera, so I add to stage. There it is. Start cam. Here we go. Shoo.
There you are.
Okay, that worked. That worked. Okay. All right. So according to my cell phone, we're 5 minutes from showtime.
Okay.
All right, so just bear with me.
That works for me.
Yeah, just bear with me because everything is new on the netbook. I've done it on the netbook before, so I don't know why it's giving me all kinds of questions. Plus, I think the internet at the hotel is not fabulous. So
that might be it.
Yeah, we'll do the best we can. I think that's why we got knocked off.
Okay.
But better knocked off than knocked up, right?
Yes.
Okay. And for the opening music, I'm trying to look and see what I can play that will be workable. Actually, any of this stuff looks like it's workable. Okay. Whew. Okay. All right. Okay. According to what I'm seeing here, we can go live almost any time. So just let me set the music. This one's good. I'm going to try this one. Good evening and welcome to the 561st episode of Travelwitch Radio. I'm Dan Schlossberg and we are in the 13th season of Travelwitch Radio, the show that lets you enjoy the pleasures of travel from the comfort of your armchair. Every week at this time, we talk to people representing destinations, hotels, airlines, railroads, car rental companies, and others in the world of travel and hospitality, from authors and bloggers to broadcasters and publicists. If it's got anything to do with travel, it's got everything to do with Travelwitch Radio. Our guest today is Allison Brown, Director of Marketing for Discover Long Island. Welcome, Allison, to Travelwitch Radio.
Thank you, Dan. It's a pleasure to be here.
And Travelwitch viewers watch from all over North America. They may know Long Island is part of New York State, but they probably don't know its exact location or the difference between the North Fork and the South Fork. So how would you describe it to a stranger who may be interested in traveling there?
Sure. Well, Long Island is really interesting. It is a scenic region on the southeast and eastern part of New York State, and actually leads right up to New York City. So I'm sure everyone pretty much knows where that is. So we're just east of that. And it extends roughly 118 miles out, hence the name Long Island. And we're just a quick ride, like I said, from New York City, and we extend all the way out through what we call the Gold Coast, which is where all the Gatsby mansions are, Fire Island, Shelter Island, Montauk, and of course the famed Hamptons. And Long Island is shaped like a fish, so that's why we're at the middle of it. At Riverhead, it forks off to what we call this North Fork and the South Fork.
Why is tourism so important to the Long Island region?
Oh, so Long Island really is very important to the Long Island region. And a lot of people don't realize what hospitality and tourism has to do with, just basics, understanding of economic impact and how we live our day to day. So Long Island alone has a 6.6 billion with a B tourism industry right here on the island, and it supports over 80,000 jobs. So that really all comes right back home. So for everybody who lives here, who visits here, who visits family, it all comes right back into this. And for everyone who lives here, and everyone says, why do I care about tourism? Why does it affect me? Well, it does, because not only do we employ these 80,000 local jobs, and we bring in this tourism industry, which helps the infrastructure that we all depend on, but it actually lowers almost $1,000 per household each year in your annual taxes. So that goes a long way.
Long Island is at the peak of its summer season right now, so please tell us some of the things visitors can do. With Long Island Sound on one side and the Atlantic Ocean on the other, water sports has to rank at the top of the list.
Yeah, so let's start with the beaches. It is the typical beach weather season, and when you think the famed Hamptons, Cooper's Beach in Southampton and Main Beach in East Hampton are consistently named some of the top top 10 beaches in the country. But we also have some other great beaches that are open. They're all open to the public too. We have Robert Moe's Beach, and then we have Jones Beach. And those are both open to the public. Anybody can go. We have all kinds of different, fishing, centers. You can go out fishing. You can go, to your point, on the north side of it, we have the Sound, which the water's a little bit calmer. So on the south side in Montauk, where you're doing a lot of, you're doing a lot of the, typical surfing. On the north side, you're doing a little bit more paddle boating and things along those lines, a little bit more of the calm waters. You're sailing. Lots of sailboats going on around this time of year. So it's a lot. And, checking out things like, the local, the lighthouses, Montauk, Point Lighthouse, famous lighthouse, one of the oldest and actually the oldest in New York, Fire Island Lighthouse, lesser known Huntington Harbor Lighthouse, which actually looks like a small castle and surrounded completely by water. There's so much to do here. Like I said, there's all kinds of things, from everything from Splish Splash, water park, and going to the aquarium. We are definitely a center for aquaculture.
With Labor Day only a few weeks away, what is the fall season like in Long Island? I know everybody thinks New England when we think about fall foliage, but doesn't Long Island rank right up there too?
For fall, yeah, absolutely. So, the fall foliage definitely happens, and it's great because, New England starts getting their colors a little bit earlier. We tend to be, since we're a little bit south, we have it a little bit later on in the season. So you kind of get a little bit of the best. So while, we kind of, can gauge what's happening, and New York State actually has a map that you can see where all of the colors are changing. So where to go each week, so that nobody misses it, is really exciting. And to me, fall is actually one of the best times of year to come, because it's a lot quieter. It's a lot more, I think, to me, it's a lot more exciting. We have a lot of harvest festivals. We have the pumpkin picking, the apple picking. There's all kinds of, harvest festivals going on around town. There's just always something going on for everybody. And the weather is absolutely spectacalar. So you can go to the beach during the day. You can take a nice breezy walk on the sands at night, and, by a firelit, campfire. And it's just absolutely perfect. It's not too hot, not too cold, perfect weather.
People are already planning for winter, spring, and summer of 2025. What can you tell us about the highlights of each season on Long Island?
So in the winter, it is a favorite for a lot of people on the island, because Long Island has its own Hallmark Christmas movie vibe. that, traditional old town, local feel where there's, the festivals and the tree lightings and all of the singing and caroling is going on. Everything is lit and decorated. There's ice skating and hot cocoa festivals and things along those. We have Jones Beach that turns from regular beach going season. They take the main road and they turn it into a winter wonderland of lights. And it's so much fun to do that. And of course, I have to shout out to our Islanders at the UBS Arena, the New York Islanders. If you want to catch a hockey game, there you go. That's some of the, the wonderful things to do in the winter. But in the spring, everything lightens up a little bit. You can go and see the lavender fields, the tulip fields, the cherry blossoms. There's a lot of good things going on. Like there's a kite festival that happens in the springtime. So, it's a really wonderful place that you can do something every single season and never see the same thing twice.
As a resident of northern New Jersey, I've visited Long Island many times. I love the beaches, but also the agriculture, especially the vineyards, potato farms, and fresh sweet corn you can find in seasonal stands like Lowlands and Wading River. Do people come out to do wine tasting on weekends? I know some of the wineries have food and music so people can linger longer.
Absolutely. So one of the wonderful things about the wineries, and they just celebrated their 50th anniversary last year. Wine Enthusiast has actually named Long Island Wine Country one of the top 10 wine regions in the world. And it is once you come here and you see it for yourself, you'll never forget it. It has over 60 vineyards right here in Long Island, and we have everything from local farm stands, breweries, craft distilleries, and some of the best local pies you're ever going to find. But yeah, the wineries are open for the most part year round. So whether you want to take a day off during the week, you want to go on a winter wonderland, you can sit by a roaring fire and have a wonderful glass of wine. It's really all for everybody there. And those festivals definitely happen with all of the summer going on right now. There's definitely, live music and the food, all of it's happening right now.
Long Island has a great ferry system, especially from Orient Point and Port Jefferson to Connecticut. I've taken the ferry from Port Jeff, but please share with our viewers.
So the ferry scene on Long Island offers really a scenic and a really convenient waterway travel. It connects to various parts of the island, mainly on the north side of the island, so extending from Connecticut. But then it goes beyond that with routes to Shelter Island, Fire Island, which is on the south shore. All mainly from that North Fork to Connecticut area. So it's just a really nice way. You could take the car, you could just also just walk on, and it really will drop you off into some of the greatest little, seafaring towns you've ever seen.
We're talking with Allison Brown of Discover Long Island. Allison, no report on Long Island would be complete without featuring the Hamptons. It has gorgeous mansions, gorgeous people, celebrities everybody would know, from Deborah Messing, Billy Joel to Jerry Seinfeld. Let's hear more.
So yeah, I mean, everything that you see in the Hamptons and the commercials and in the movies is kind of what you see and you would step into. One of the things that I love about the Hamptons, though, that people don't realize is that the famous people come here, and it's very much their escape from reality. So they'll be walking down the street and you literally will see Jennifer Lopez walking down the street and not even realize that she is there. There's Doria's in Montauk, Barron Cove in Sag Harbor, Silly Lily's, just to name a few, that was just recently named Best Seafood on Long Island. So in our seafood blog. So you definitely got to check that out from us.
I did see Deborah Messing. That red hair was unmistakable.
Can't miss it, right?
Definitely not. We'd also like to hear about places people can sample some of that great seafood. I love the Steam Room in Port Jefferson. I like the Lobster Roll in Amagansett. And there are so many other places for lobster, clams, and oysters.
There are, and it's more than just the place to go. We have a very a big fisherman, seafaring kind of field twist as well. We actually were working with Little Ram Oyster Company recently, and they are a woman-owned company that actually are oyster farmers, and they go out every day and catch the oysters, and then they bring them to the restaurants. So to name just a few of the restaurants would be very hard. I'd be picking, I'd be picking favorites right now. I would just say go to our website and check out some of our blogs and our reports on them to kind of get the best of the best there. but the lobster roll is to die for.
And speaking of the lobster roll, wasn't TV's The Affair filmed there? And weren't The Godfather, The Wolf of Wall Street, and Men in Black among the many movies made in Long Island?
Absolutely. There's a lot that goes on as far as film sites on Long Island. So most recently, Long Island had, we've been getting a lot of Hollywood attention lately. I'm not sure if you know, but No Hard Feelings with Jennifer Lawrence was filmed in Montauk. Taylor Swift, you know, that little unknown gem, her blank space music video was shot at Oheka Castle, as well as the premiere episode of Succession that just finished wrapping up. And we've also had the last season of American Horror Story was filmed in Huntington. The movie Adventureland was based on our very own with the same name, Adventureland, right here on Long Island. And Netflix recent Leave It All Behind with Julia Roberts and Ethan Hawke were filmed out east, as well as the upcoming series called Siren with Julianne Moore and Kevin Bacon. So we definitely have all of our talent here.
Glad you mentioned Oheka Castle. I'm a huge fan of Historic Hotels of America, and that is one of its 300 plus members. Can you tell us a little about that resort?
Oheka Castle is beautiful. It literally looks like, I mean, it looks like a children's fairy tale. Once you see it for yourself, you will just never believe it. What is amazing about it is it is open to the public, that you can go and spend a night there. There is a restaurant there that you can go to, and a bar that you can go to. So, you know, it is some of those things. And you can also get tours there. So it is some of those things that, you know, you live on Long Island, and once you see it for yourself, it really is as breathtaking, if not more breathtaking, than when you see it on TV. And when you're standing in that beautiful garden, you know, with the water fountain, and you see, oh, I saw that in the show, or oh, I saw that in the video. It really kind of brings a whole new inspiration, and to see it for yourself and have it right here in your own backyard is just a fascinating thing.
Tell us a little bit about the Long Island Music and Entertainment Hall of Fame, where it is and when it opened.
So the Long Island Music and Entertainment Hall of Fame, it's located in the Stony Brook Village, which is towards the I would say the North Shore. And it's a little hidden gem. It's perfect addition to your Long Island experience bucket list, and it highlights the region's deep roots in the music industry. It has its first of its own kind, a major Billy Joel exhibit. Of course, we have to play our homage to the Piano Man, you know, who lives right out east from here. And it's called Billy Joel, My Life, A Piano Man's Journey. And it showcases over 5 decades of rare memorabilia, videos, awards, instruments, photos, more, things like that. And it's all been donated from Billy's personal collection.
We'd also like to know more about the WLIR radio becoming so influential in the music industry as a whole. Didn't they start by playing songs, sounds, and artists nobody knew?
Absolutely. I am a testament to, I grew up in the era of WLIR, and not to date myself, but I did. And they are one of the most influential radio stations that was around during the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And it was in the 70s that the station decided to move more into a future kind of format change. And they shift over to a progressive rock, kind of more obscure artist list, with a jockey vibe, rather than just playing the typical top 50 hits. And if you see there's it's a movie called Dare to Be Different. And basically what it is it's a movie, and it talks about how WLIR was the first to embrace this new wave of music, literally new wave, becoming the first radio station in the country to literally play the first music in America for U2, Duran Duran, Madonna, George Michael, Men at Work, and Prince. And that's just to name a few. So the station, you know, was one of the few in the area that, you know, would play these types of artists. And while they went on to have obviously big celebrity notarization, you know, that they have to this day, it all started here on Long Island.
I'd like to tell our viewers that you're tuned to Travelwitch Radio, now in our 13th season with Dan Schlossberg. Check out iTunes, LinkedIn, Instagram, or the Travelwitch Radio Facebook page, among other places. In this presidential election year, Allison, We should mention Teddy Roosevelt was born and raised in Oyster Bay, and cousin Franklin Roosevelt was governor of New York. Isn't it also true that Hofstra University hosted several presidential debates?
It absolutely is true. All of it is true. And yes, there's lots of presidential history here on Long Island. And you could visit these places, like Teddy's home in Sagamore Hill, which was originally built as what he would call the Summer White House. And fun fact also, Richard Nixon also wrote his presidential acceptance speech right at Gurney's in Montauk.
How about places to stay in Long Island? Does Long Island have a bit of everything from B&Bs to chain hotels? And what are prices like?
So we do have a little bit of everything. We have from the landmark Airbnb, the landmark bed and breakfast B&B, all the way up to a chain hotel, all the way up to a top resort. The prices are absolutely affordable for every price point at every level. It depends on really what season you're coming at, what you're really looking for. And, it's always easier also, just the little hint, if you come during the week, you usually get a little bit of a better deal. And also you get a little bit less traffic, which is exactly how we want you to, be able to see Long Island. And, but there is literally something for everyone. And if you go to our website, discoverlongisland.com, we have every hotel is right there on our site. You can take a look at them all and you can book right there as well.
What's the best way to get to Long Island? I know MacArthur Airport is one of the best little airports in the country and a great way to beat the traffic.
It is. So it's funny you mentioned that. It was actually, Islip MacArthur Airport was actually just named again a winner of USA Today's top 10 best reader's choice for small airport category. It's really easy. It is literally in pretty much the middle of the island. So while you can also get here by air transportation by flying into JFK or LaGuardia, if you fly into MacArthur, you're getting much further into the island. You're beating a lot of traffic, and you're easier to get out to the further east in a lot quicker of a time. And they've just recently made a huge bunch of announcements. Breeze Airlines just announced that they're adding more flights, more direct flights from into Florida, and we just found out that JetBlue is coming back. So between those two, and we have Southwest and Frontier Airlines as well, we really are kind of stepping up our game a lot.
Another way to beat the traffic is the Long Island Railroad. Lots of people take it to jobs in the city, but isn't it also a great venue for people going to the beaches on weekends?
Absolutely. The Long Island Railroad is a great, option any time of the year. And it runs literally through the North and South Fork. So you can get around the entire island pretty much without needing a car. And on our website, you can check out even additional things to do called Trains to Trails, which is where the MTA and Long Island Railroad, paired up with Discover Long Island. And we put up these routes that they created where you could take the Long Island Railroad, let's say from the city, and you could come out to Long Island at a specific railroad stop. And then it will tell you exactly where to walk to get onto a trail and how you can get around that trail and then get back on and go back home. So you could do this all walking, hiking, biking, all just by taking the train.
And speaking of weekends, Labor Day weekend is less than a month away. Is that the official close of summer season for Long Island, especially with lifeguards going back to school?
Well, a lot of people think that Labor Day is the end of summer, that typical end of summer where Memorial Day is the typical beginning of summer. But we promote Long Island throughout the year because there's just so much to do around this, around Long Island as a year-round destination. And, fun fact, the water in the beaches are actually the warmest in September than they are in this time of year right now. And many of these beaches become free parking as well. So you're getting, one positive thing after another positive thing. So to me, I would say September is the best time to come. And October, it may not be bathing suit weather, but it is certainly walking in the sand with your flip-flops. It is really a wonderful way to beat the summer heat and the summer crowds.
And I know Halloween is a big deal for Long Island too. Gorgeous pumpkins are grown there. And I know many people take rides out there to buy them. So residents have to cope with traffic from pumpkin pickers even after beach season ends, right?
Well, we do our best to really kind of help move that needle around and offer the different ways to get around. But we're definitely rich in that farmland, especially on the North Fork. So the farms are, they're all family friendly fall, experiences that are really popular. But we do our best here at, Discover Long Island to help visitors understand that if they come midweek or that off-peak season, it will help the visitor have a much better, experience and not have to deal with the traffic. And then the residents make out just as well, just make it just as great. So, but we definitely love our pumpkins. We love our apple picking, our fall festivals, and our haunted history.
What kind of museums can people find on Long Island? I'm sure there's several nautical museums pertaining to your maritime history.
There's a number of great opportunities for museums across the island, and a few of the notable ones are the Long Island Children's Museum, for obvious reasons, great for families. The Paris Art Museum in the Watermill is great. The Cradle of Aviation is another wonderful museum, and the Vanderbilt Museum and Planetarium is another great one as well. So there's a little bit of something for everyone. There's historical, there's nautical. We are definitely not hurting in the arts and cultures area.
We hear two big golf tournaments are coming to Long Island: the Ryder Cup in September of 2025 and the U.S. Open in June of 2026. Big deals, right?
Very big deals. The Ryder Cup is heading to Long Island's famous Bethpage Black course, which is one of the hardest courses in the country, but it's also a public course. So you can come and check it out for yourself and play just like the Masters would. And that's coming in 2025 for the very first time. So Long Island is really excited to host this. And then we will be followed up the following year in 26 at Shinnecock Hills out east for the U.S. Open. And we've also locked up 2036 for the U.S. Open men and women. So just take it all to golf.
You must have a long calendar.
We do.
Okay, what other spectator and participation sports can Long Island visitors enjoy?
Well, I must mention our Long Island Ducks, which is a great place to go with a family to watch your local baseball game. And some of the players just got traded to some of the majors. So you can see, somebody who's going to become the next famous baseball player right here on Long Island. And it is a fun game. I went a couple of weeks ago, and there's nothing beating it. It's really great. And I guess in the winter, we have, of course, our hockey, our Islanders team at the new UBS Arena. We now have the Ironman, which is the race that happens on water and land. And that happens by the beaches over in the fall. And then we have the Hampton Classic coming up in a few weeks for anybody who's a fan of equestrians. But we can't also wait for the Belmont Stakes to actually return home to where it belongs, right here on Long Island in 2027 to its new residents.
And what's the story with the planned bicycle path that will link Montauk with Manhattan? Isn't the Long Island Greenway supposed to connect with the Empire State Trail, the 750-mile shared use trail that links Buffalo and Niagara Falls to New York City? At Travelwitch Radio, we love lighthouses and landmarks. Long Island has both of those too. It's amazing all the things they have to offer.
It really is. So this is an amazing project where the Greenway is going to consist of 200 miles of bike paths for biking, hiking, and running, and it's going to stretch from Manhattan all the way through Long Island South Fork to the Montauk. So literally from one end to the other. And once completed, the Long Island Greenway will connect to the Empire State Trail. So eventually you could literally trek from Niagara Falls to New York City and then head east all the way to Long Island's East End.
Wow, and happy anniversary, by the way. Last year, as you mentioned, was the 50th anniversary of Long Island Wine Country. Let's drink a toast.
Yes, absolutely. They are just growing leaps and bounds, and I can't keep up with them. They are an amazing organization, the Long Island Wine Council, and I highly recommend it. It is just, not only is the wine great, but the experience is great as well.
And what's going on right now with Discover Long Island? I know you have a new mobile app, among other things.
We do. So last fall, we introduced the new DLI app, and it is really cool because what it does is it takes a lot of the information you'd find on our website, but it works on geo-targeting location and with AI. So it helps you to find timely and local experiences right where you are. So if I'm sitting here in my office on Long Island, it will give me things to do around here. But if I go and head out east, let's say the Hamptons, it's going to show me what I can do out there. Or if I head back over to the west and I go and head out to, you know, the Great Gatsby mansions, it will show me what to do there. So it'll show me where to eat, where to stay, what great experiences I can go to, what events are happening, book my tickets, all right there in the app. So it's really great. It really makes creating your own travel agenda so simple.
Our viewers always like to learn a little bit more about our guests. So please share where you were born and raised, where you went to school, and how you came to discover Long Island.
Okay, so I think it would be a complete, you know, obvious that I am born and raised on Long Island. I did go to Hofstra University. I originally went away, lived in Florida for a bit, came home, and then I lived in Manhattan for a bit. And I've worked in marketing, in tourism and hospitality for over 2 decades now. And I was literally just looking for my next big thing. And I saw this great company called Discover Long Island. And they said, you know, in their application, tell me what you love about Long Island and why you would be perfect for this job. And I think after talking to me, you can understand I drank the Kool-Aid, and I really do love where I belong and where I live and where I grew up. And, you know, of all the great places in the world to live, I get to live on this amazing island each day. So it's really great.
Is there anything about Discover Long Island or Long Island that you'd like to add?
So I would just say that Discover Long Island, especially what we do here, is not just for the tourist. It's for the everyday. It's for the local, you know, the local Long Islander as well. And you could use our site, our social media, our app every single day to find out literally what's going on this weekend, what's happening that's, you know, brand new, what's new and cool that's happening. And I think to consumers, the misconception is that we are just a summer vacation spot. And I hope I've done my job today telling you all that it's not. It's a 365-day year, amazing place to visit. And if you come every single season, you will not experience the same thing once. And every time you come, there's always something new. I've been on this island long enough to know that I still am surprised at what it still has to offer.
Your enthusiasm is great, Allison. Thank you so much for being our guest on Travelwitch Radio.
Well, thank you.
And this is the 50th anniversary of the home run that broke Babe Ruth's record for Hank Aaron. And now that the second half of the baseball season has started, this is your chance to share in the excitement with my new biography, Home Run King, The Remarkable Record of Hank Aaron. Dusty Baker wrote the foreword. It's a 265-page hardcover. Talks about Hank Aaron's contributions as an athlete and as an advocate for civil rights. Get it today, Home Run King, The Remarkable Record of Hank Aaron. Get it on Amazon.com. And that's it for this edition of Travelwitch Radio. Next week, same time, same place, we'll find out about Road Scholar, not Rhodes Scholar, Road, R-O-A-D, Scholar, from Kelsey Perry. Now, this is Dan Schlossberg saying thank you for your time this time. Until next time, good night and stay safe.